Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Tuesday, September 1st, 2020, and today I'm going to be talking about troops and the 2020 election. So the Military Times releases a poll multiple times in a presidential election year, and they release numbers amongst active duty troops, and they poll them. They ask, who are you going to vote for in the presidential election in November? Now, Donald Trump recently had these numbers polled, not Donald Trump, but these numbers were recently polled that shows Donald Trump at a 37% vote share for the troops in this upcoming election, and 41% of the troops say they are voting for Joe Biden. So the reason why I'm making an entire video about this is because this drastic turnaround is very significant. There's a third-party vote share that isn't as high as it was in 2016. We'll review those results, but we need to talk about this, comparing it to both the 2016 and the last time Joe Biden was on the ballot, 2012. So looking at these numbers, I would say that this isn't going to determine too many swing states. I mean, talking about the military vote, there's only 1.3 active duty military members, and on top of that, roughly only 47% of them are registered to vote, so we're taking around half of them away out of this voting block, and assuming that all of the registered voters vote, it's still barely the population of Wyoming. So overall, this won't be swaying the election too much, but you do have to realize that there are tides turning, not just here, but also in the Republican Party amongst independents, and we're starting to see every voting bloc, except for the GOP, turn away from President Trump. Thus his reason for being underwater by 8% nationwide. So the Military Times released this poll, and like I said, back in 2016, we need to take a look at that data. So let's take a look at where it was around 3 years and 10 months ago. October 2016, they released a poll, and as you can see, Hillary Clinton only received 21% of the vote share, and Gary Johnson received 27%. So roughly a 32%, 33% vote share for third party. So roughly 1 in 3 voters, according to the Military Times poll, it's the same exact organization, were voting third party. In fact, more people were expected to vote for Gary Johnson than Hillary Clinton amongst active duty members. And if you look at Donald Trump's vote share, well, he's at 41%. Now he's at 37%. While he's only lost 4%, Joe Biden went from Hillary Clinton's numbers at 21%, rounded up, all the way up to 41%. This is a 20% increase for Joe Biden. The reason for that, lack of a good third-party candidate, and Joe Biden is much more likable than Hillary Clinton. But let's talk about Obama for a second. I mean, Obama, he was very popular at the end of his term. He ended up winning both in 2008 and 2012. But in 2012, right before the election, he was losing to Mitt Romney amongst military voters, 66% versus 26%. Now, while Donald Trump did not get nearly 66% in 2016, he's definitely not closer in 2020. And the fact that Joe Biden is doing better than both Hillary Clinton, which is a very low bar considering her election performance, and then comparing it to Obama, where he's doing dramatically better than Obama, that is what is so significant, because Romney hasn't endorsed Joe Biden. He subtly has said, I'm not voting for Trump. I'm firmly against Trump's reelection, but I'm not going to endorse a Democrat, at least yet. And Mitt Romney, being, a candidate from the 2012 presidential election who military voters supported more than Donald Trump, pretty significantly more, in not endorsing but not voting for President Trump, really gives the idea to a lot of these, voters, and including these active duty military members, that they shouldn't vote for Donald Trump either. Because Donald Trump's margin, at least the Republican Party's vote share amongst voting troops, went down from 66% before Election Day, down to 41%, down to 37%. But the Democratic Party's vote share went from 26 down to 21, all the way up to 41. So Joe Biden is doing a number of things different than both Hillary Clinton. Like I said, very low bar given the fact that she lost numerous states, but then also Obama. Again, this won't be swaying too many swing states. This is a very small voting block, but this is a traditionally conservative group of people that, when you think military and you think pro-military party right now, you think the Republican Party. They have been embracing the Air Force, embracing the Army, just embracing everything about the United States military, especially in the re-election. But I mean, Donald Trump loves displaying military force. And, when you think about someone who claims to be for America, can you find someone who's more for America than military members? And for some reason, they're seeing right through Donald Trump. And this likely could be due to the fact that Donald Trump is saying a number of things that are hurting his reelection chances. He's saying a number of things, and also the Russian bounty thing definitely did not help Donald Trump. I mean, his numbers have dwindled amongst voters, voting troops, which, like I said, not going to sway too much, but just important to note. I think that it's fascinating that Joe Biden is doing better than Barack Obama. I expected him to do better than Hillary Clinton, but 20% better. The fact that also, since there isn't a Gary Johnson or a Jill Stein in this race, these more conservative members are turning to a Democrat rather than a Republican because they don't like the Republican incumbent. In terms of approval amongst these voters, let's go ahead and take a look. The approval rating for Donald Trump, 42% of them are very unfavorable. This is very significant given the fact that he had a positive approval rating entering into his presidency. But very unfavorable, 8% unfavorable, 12% are neutral, which means there's a very lopsided difference between the unfavorability rating and the favorability rating. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this has changed over time. In 2016, up through Election Day, 46% of military members approved of Donald Trump, 37% disapproved. Obama was at a 56 to 33 deficit at this point, or 52 to 36, but it was very bad, double-digit negative for Obama. 2017 rolls around, Trump's approval rating dwindles a tad bit, but still in the overall positive. 2018, it's neck and neck. This is a midterm election year. The Democratic Party is rallying up energy, rallying up a number of attack ads against President Trump. 2019, boom. This is where not the Democrats, I guess they do benefit from this, but the military members said no to Trump. He's at roughly a majority of, almost there at a majority of military members disapproving of him. 42% approval. And then a year later, drops down to 38%. That is very significant. The unfavorability rating is almost matching his favorability rating at this point. It has decreased from 46 down to 38. That only seems small because it's a single-digit number. It's negative 8% from 4 years ago. But if he only narrowly won these states before, and he was only narrowly holding on to a number of these independent voters, if a more conservative voting bloc is disapproving of President Trump, can you imagine those people who are just a little bit to the left of military service members? I mean, military service members typically vote for Republicans. That's a stereotype. That the military vote almost always goes to the GOP unless there's a veteran running for office. And in 2016, there wasn't. In 2020, there isn't. And Donald Trump was the first president to ever be elected without military service first or serving in a previous public office. And now it looks like the military is turning away from him. And that's very unfortunate for him because the Republican Party has always been the party of military, which is why, a lot of the times we see a lot of their rising stars, they're veterans. And they start to question the Democratic Party's legitimacy and question their approval of America and the way that they view America, whether or not they hate it or not. And now we see these service members turning their backs on a president who loves to gloat about how he's loved by the military, how he, knows more than the military generals. And honestly, that's very unfortunate for President Trump because this is starting to show us where the tides are turning. Not only is the military going blue, Donald Trump is now losing the military vote. A Republican hasn't lost it on the presidential level since, way back when. 2012, Romney was running against one of the most inspirational candidates that we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Barack Obama convinced Indiana voters to go blue, which went to Trump by 19% in 2016. I mean, Obama, if you don't like him, that's really doesn't matter. He was able to win over numerous Republican voters, and he still wasn't able to win over the military voting group. Granted, in 2008, John McCain, very much a veteran, easily play that. But for Mitt Romney, I mean, not really. And he still lost it by an even larger margin. And you can see the tides were starting to turn against Donald Trump in 2016. A number of these more conservative voters ended up voting for Gary Johnson, especially amongst military service members. Gary Johnson got larger than Hillary Clinton in terms of the vote share. And Donald Trump wasn't able to win over this voting bloc. But this is roughly the same amount that Mitt Romney got in 2016. Now this 27%, not only have they turned their back on Donald Trump, they have jumped on to Joe Biden. He's roughly seen 7% less than what Gary Johnson got, according to this Military Times poll. And that means that Joe Biden is winning over not just these voters. There's a bigger picture here, winning over a number of conservative voters who were iffy about voting for Hillary Clinton, ended up voting for Donald Trump or Gary Johnson. I mean, Gary Johnson gave the best Libertarian Party performance in a presidential election in 2016. Now there isn't one. I mean, Joe Jorgensen, not too well known, won't be on a debate stage, won't be covered in polls, There won't be a three-way race. There definitely won't be a four-way race with Howie Hawkins. It's a two-way race this time, and we're turning to normal. And if Joe Biden wins this election, it will be on the backs of independent voters that have moved back, never Trump Republican voters, and, as this shows, military voters as well. Donald Trump is alienating every group but his own base. And in a very real reality for President Trump, you cannot win an election with just 41% of the vote. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below. Stay tuned tonight for my 2020 election prediction. I will be releasing that on around 6 p.m. Eastern time. On the left, you can subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the Instagram and Twitter. On the screen, there's a video you can watch, and then a playlist for my other 2020 election videos. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later today.